Well, happy Thursday. Welcome everybody to the K-12 Skill Trades Workgroup meeting. Thank you all for attending. We have some great speakers and agenda ahead of us today, so you guys should stay tuned. I'll give it a couple more minutes for people to join in. What we're going to do is just a little bit of intros of our guest speakers so that way you can know who we're expecting for today. From there, we'll go ahead and get started with our guest speakers one by one. So today's panel discussion for this month is going to be plumber and pipe fitters with the local 286, who's going to be showcasing that for us, and then sheet metal workers with the local 67, who will be showcasing that for us. So today's is going to be talking about the career journey as a plumber and pipe fitter welder, as well as the sheet metal worker. And then we also have some special guests to talk about how you can get training into those fields. So our guest speakers we have is Brian Peabody, and he's with the local 286. He's going to highlight the career field as plumber and pipe fitter, as well as the career as a welder. And then we have Karina. She's the local 67. She's going to be speaking about the sheet metal workers. Then we have Daniel Lopez with Capital Idea at ACC, and he's going to be highlighting the program there and how you can get education paid for, as well as childcare and books with the skill trades there through ACC. Ted is going to share about Goodwill, a GCTA plumbing apprenticeship program, and more. And we also have Kevin, who is an instructor. So he's going to be speaking about Skill Point and all of the great things that they have to offer in the trainings and variety as well. We're going to showcase a lot more in our slide deck. So when you get that, you will see some slides that we didn't speak upon here, but we wanted to make sure that you guys were able to get that information delivered today. So we'll go ahead and get started now that it is 9:34, we're almost 5 minutes in. So labor market data, we're going to be looking at the demand for plumbers and pipe fitters, welders, and sheet metal workers. We're also going to be delivering kind of what is the shortage and all of that information that's going to be tied into these career fields. And so Jessica Garay with Workforce Solutions, she is going to be providing this information for us. So I'll pass it over to you, Jessica.
Thank you so much. And we can actually advance to the next slide, Stephanie. I'll let Brian talk about the MC3 program in a moment. So as Stephanie shared, we look at labor market data on a regular basis at Workforce Solutions Capital Area to really see where the trends are happening. Since we're talking about skilled trades today, specifically plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and sheet workers, I thought it would be great to kind of pull some trends that we've seen within construction and those occupations. So we do know that the construction industry is experiencing continued demand for skilled workers in our region. So I was able to pull data from online job postings through our subscription to Labor Insight Burning Glass to really see where the highest number of job postings are coming from. So this graph shows us that building and equipment contractors have the highest demand going into 2021, second to residential building construction. When you're looking at building equipment contractors, these are your trade workers. So they're pouring concrete, they're painting, they're plumbing, they're doing all of that work to build the construction, the new buildings here in Austin and surrounding Austin. On the right, I also wanted to point out the employment by numbers. And this really shows the highest number of employed workers in each occupation. So the highest number of employments in construction laborers, second to carpenters, first line supervisors of construction workers, electricians, and plumbers and pipe fitters. The construction worker industry, or I'm sorry, construction workers actually make up 7% of our regional workforce, and the average wage for a worker in construction is going to be about $64,000 a year. We can advance to the next slide.
Oh, wow.
All right, so we do know that the highest projected demand for trade workers will be for plumbers, pipe fitters, and welders as it pertains to today's occupations, not overall. This graph here shows the median annual wages, but I want to preface that, and Brian can kind of speak to this, also Karina, they really advocate for competitive wages and benefits for their workers. So that annual wage may not be accurate to what they're paying within their labor organized labor unions. But overall, this is the average that you're going to see in the Austin metro area. And then we can always send this table out to you, but this really shows the unemployment rate, the annual change per year, historical change, and then the exits and transfers that you're going to see every year, depending on each occupation. And we can advance to the next slide. All right, so the talent supply shortage projected for Austin skilled trades and manufacturing occupations is listed in this graph here. Through our subscription of Jobs EQ, which really pulls data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, this is going to show us projected occupation gaps over the next 10 years. So this graph is an annual projected shortage. So we're going to see the most shortage in maintenance and repair workers, first line supervisors of construction trades and extraction workers, electricians, carpenters, first line of mechanics, installers, and repairers, plumbers, pipe fitters, industry machinery mechanics, and the list goes on. So this graph really shows that there's a high demand for these occupations, but there's also a projected occupation gap based on current awards that are given through post-secondary institutions. Now, I don't think registered apprenticeship programs are in this data. In fact, I confirmed that with our subscription. So I'd be really interested to see how many awards the registered apprenticeship programs are issuing each year. We can advance to the next slide. I think this is the last slide, but plumbing is projected as the highest skill shortage in most trade occupations. So I was able to pull the occupation family of installation, maintenance, and repair occupations, because that really encompasses plumbers, sheet metal workers, even HVAC technician and welders. And we see that plumbing is actually the most in demand skill set as of Q3 of 2020 in the Austin MSA area. The way they pull this data is they look at online job ads compared to what applicants are putting on their resume. So if that plumbing skill set is not on online resumes, then they're gonna, and there's a demand for it on online job postings. This software, if you will, the Bureau of Labor Statistics really analyzes where the shortages are going to be. Some other shortage areas for skill set is going to be in blueprint reading. I've heard this time and time again from construction contractors. Again, building maintenance, mechanical skills, landscaping, diesel engines, excavations, cabling, boilers, and maintenance. Now, this isn't a comprehensive chart, if you will. Like I said, it's only for installation, maintenance, and repair occupations. But if we really wanted to dive deeper, we can look at the construction industry as a whole to see really where those skills are lacking. But I just want to point that out, especially due to the recent snowpocalypse. And then we also have Local 286 on the call. And I know they had a huge demand of workers recently. So I thought that was really interesting to share. So that's all I have today. I'll put my email in the chat. We also have a labor market request form if your school district or your training program would like to look at data a little closer. We have tons of really cool subscriptions that we can pull data from. So please reach out to us, and thank you for having me today, Stephanie.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. That is really great because it leads to exactly what we're promoting today, and it shows you the demand and everything we have. So let us move on with Brian Peabody. He's with the Local 286. And so he's going to talk again about the journey as a plumber and pipe fitter, what that is and what that entails, as well as the career journey as a welder, as well as what you can expect from the Local 286. So take it away, Brian.
Thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate you guys being here and allowing me to present. My name is Brian Peabody. I'm the training coordinator with Local 286 Plumbers and Pipe Fitters here in the Austin area. And just like Jessica said, we are in high demand. There's, over the last several years, we've seen a shortage. We've been in need of entry level and experienced employees. And here within, I want to say, just the last 4 to 6 months, we've seen even a bigger demand due to some of the larger scale projects that moved into the Austin area. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we get rolling. But just to talk a little bit about the apprenticeship and how to get started and get your foot in the door and everything else. You can go to the next one, Stephanie. So Local 286 is a local union, part of the UA, the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. The UA was founded in 1889. It's been around for a long time. They make up 300 training centers across the United States, Canada, Australia, and Ireland. So this isn't something that we're just doing here in Austin. We're doing it across the world. I know there's 7 different local training centers across the state of Texas alone. It represents over 370,000 men and women that include folks that are doing plumbing, pipe fitting, sprinkler fitting, HVAC service technicians, and welders. And with the UA takes a lot of pride in providing the safest, most skilled, and highly trained workforce in the industry. You can go to the next one. And so, like I said, Local 286, we're just a small dot on the map, a very small piece of this large puzzle. We make up the Austin area. Local 286 was founded in 1923, closing in on our 100-year mark. So we're pretty excited about that. But we've seen a lot of growth over the last several years. We represent over 1,600 members here in the Austin area now. And that membership includes our journeymen and our apprentices. Our apprentices, as you can see, make up a pretty large portion of that number. And that's due to the skilled trades gap that we've seen starting to develop over the last few years. We've been needing and seeing a higher demand for apprentices. Every year we say this is the most we've ever taken in, and we've said it for the last, I think, 4 years in a row now. And the way things are looking, we're going to say it again this year. We have 360 apprentices that are currently in the program, and I forgot to put on the end of that 100 there. We have over 100 unindentured apprentices. Those are folks that are entry level, who are required to have absolutely zero knowledge, zero experience in the trade, that just have an interest in getting started, getting their foot in the door. We've put over 100 of those folks to work, and are giving them an opportunity to get some experience before they come in to try to start school whenever we start our next school year up in September. And again, you can see those encompass all facets of our trade: plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, and HVAC. You'll notice we took sprinkler fitter off there. Our local here does not do sprinkler fitting with Local 286. There's a separate local, Local 669. So we have all the contact information for them if anyone is interested. But you can see our jurisdiction. So when I say our jurisdiction, it means any work that falls in any of the counties that are listed there are required to have our members on those projects. So our jurisdiction covers basically all the way from San Marcos, New Braunfels area up to Round Rock, Georgetown, and then east and west is like Giddings all the way over to Marble Falls. So a pretty decent circle around the city of Austin. The vast majority of the work that we do, I would say probably over 80% of it falls in downtown. So, you know, the folks that are in Austin are typically getting to stay working in Austin. We spend roughly $1.7 million a year on training annually here for our apprenticeship program. And we take a lot of pride in the training that our students receive, because that is a big reason why our contractors are able to provide quality wages and quality fringe benefits for those members. You can go to the next one. So like I said, the apprenticeship program makes up a pretty large portion of our membership, and it's set up in a system where folks can earn while they learn. You hear us say that a lot. It's earn while you learn. The reason we say that is they get to have a full-time job where they're learning the hands-on skill set that they're going to need to be successful, and getting paid to do so while they're getting training in the class, in the shop, really fine tuning those skills and learning all facets of the industry. It is a 5-year program. The students come in, they start school. We follow really close to AISD schedule. So we start school in September, we wrap up in May. The students are going to receive 10,000 hours of on-the-job training at usually in that ballpark. They average about 2,000 hours a year of on-the-job training over the course of the 5 years, and they also are required to receive 1,225 hours of classroom and shop instruction here for the apprenticeship program. They take two classes during the evenings, twice a week. So like I said, they're working full-time during the day, and then they come see us worn out and tired from their hard day's work 2 nights a week from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. over the course of those 5 years. Graduates, I put in here, graduates are awarded 45 hours of college credit that can be applied towards a degree. We have a partnership with Washtenaw Community College because this organization is nationwide and worldwide. We have the agreement in place with Washtenaw Community College, which is in Michigan, where our graduates get 45 hours of college credit and then can apply those towards an associate's degree through Washtenaw. And then we have a separate agreement. Once they get their associate's degree through Washtenaw, they can apply it towards a bachelor's degree in construction management through Rowan University, which is in New Jersey. So, you know, I tell people all the time, this doesn't have to be considered. And I certainly don't like it when people consider it an alternative. I don't think our students are here as alternatives to anything. I think it's an option and it's a pathway to a successful career or to springboard even further into a different career. Like I said, they get full-time employment with a qualified contractor while being a part-time student. And as they're going through school, their wage rate is based on a set percentage of the current journeyman rate. So the rate that's been set in place for our journeyman workers, the apprentices pay scale is based on their classification in the program. And on the next slide, Stephanie, if you want to show them, I actually put a breakout of those wage rates so that you can see it. So if you're looking at this wage sheet, the unindentured classification at the top, those are the entry-level workers. Those are the folks that have not started school yet. They are not technically members of the local yet. It's kind of like the tryout period, right? That's their opportunity to get a look at us, get a look at the trade, make sure this is something that they want to commit to. And it's an opportunity for us to get a look at them and make sure that they are ready, make sure that they have the skill set that, you know, when I say skill set, the ability to get out of bed and go to work in the morning, the ability to show up to work every day with a good attitude and willing to learn the trade. Those are the things that they're looking for at that classification. They do not expect those folks to know how to plumb, to know how to weld, to know how to pipe fit. It's can you be there and can we rely on you to be here to learn? But if you're following across left to right, that total wage that you see there, $20.77, that encompasses the entire wage package. That's their hourly rate plus all their benefits. So you see the H&W is health and welfare. They do get health insurance, even at that entry-level classification, and that health insurance is full family. So it covers the employee, it covers the spouse, and it covers all dependents. They do not receive the retirements until they start school. And then you see the hourly there is the on-the-check wage, the $13.95. So they're making $13.95 an hour and receiving the health insurance. And that's, you know, fresh out of high school, never touched a hand tool before, you know, never worked in construction, or someone who maybe has and is looking to make a career change later on in life. You know, it really doesn't matter. And once they get accepted into the program, they get out there, they realize that they do enjoy what they're doing and they want to get into the program and commit to 5 years. You can see there the progression. So once they start school, their wage jumps to $17.05 an hour. They do start to receive the 2 retirements. There's a pension and an annuity. They keep the health insurance. So they get almost an $8 an hour raise just for starting school, just for being accepted to start receiving the training. And then from there, as they progress through school, their wage increases 5% every single time that they jump in classification. So second year, first 6 months, second year, second 6 months, every 6 months after they reach that second year, they're getting a 5% pay increase. And that's 5% on the check and 5% on the retirements. The reason that they're held at the same rate during that first year is because that's typically where we see our biggest turnover. That's where we see a lot of folks that they get into it thinking that this is something that they want to do. And if they're going to realize that this is not for them, it's usually in that first year. Our retention rates go skyrocket through the roof once they hit that second year. If they show up for their second year of apprenticeship, they're most likely going to stick through it and graduate. Follow that all the way down. You can see the journeyman package, $45.68 an hour, and that includes the hourly and all the wages. And the note on there being straight time wages only. So the way our contract reads are these wages are set for straight time only. So that's Monday through Friday for the first 8 hours of the day. If they're working overtime, if it's on a weekday, if they work hours 9 and 10, then their hourly wage goes to time and a half. If they work anything over 10, their hourly wage goes to double time. If they work on a Saturday, their wage starts out for the first 8 at time and a half, and anything over that goes to double time. And if they work on a Sunday or a holiday, then their wage goes to double time all day. And like right now, we've got a lot of folks that are working a ton of overtime on projects like Tesla and projects like Samsung and projects like TxDOT. They're working 6-7 days a week. I know I have a contractor out at Tesla that are working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, 2 shifts. So they're getting a lot of overtime, and those wages, like I said, that entry-level employee that's making $13.95 an hour, if they work on a Sunday, that's almost $28 an hour, to really not know a whole lot at that point. But things I get excited about, because you can make really good money in this trade. You can go to the next one. So how to apply, I added this one in here so that people knew we take applications every Wednesday from 8:30 in the morning to 11:30 in the morning. We break for lunch, so then we start taking applications again from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And in order to complete their application, they have to be able to provide all the documents listed there: the valid driver's license or photo ID, a social security card, a birth certificate, a high school diploma, and a final high school transcript, or a GED and test scores. And if they are a veteran, then we need service separation papers if applicable. And the reason that we ask for that is because veterans do qualify for educational benefits that they can receive in addition to their wages that they receive from employment. And I saw somebody ask a question, Stephanie, does the health insurance, I think it was, does the health insurance kick in as soon as they start the program? The health insurance actually, starts the day they start work. So they don't have to be in school to get the health insurance. They start getting that contribution the day they start work. The way the health insurance is set up is they have to work 300 hours before the health insurance kicks in. So typically within 2 to 3 months, depending on how many hours they're working, they'll hit that 300-hour mark, and then their health insurance will kick in. So good question. You can go to the next one. So I put these videos in here, and we're not going to take the time to watch every single one of these because a few of them do get kind of lengthy. But I know that Stephanie had mentioned she was going to share the slide deck with everyone. So there's a slide for what is a plumber. There's a slide for what is a pipe fitter, a sprinkler fitter, an HVAC tech, and a welder. And they explain on here, plumbers perform work that are essential to the health and safety of our citizens. Plumbers install drinking water, waste and ventilation systems, as well as wastewater treatment systems, large and small, in homes, offices, schools, hospitals, manufacturing facilities. And with a growing focus on green technologies, water conservation, and energy efficiency, the demand for plumbers is going to increase significantly over the next years. And that's pretty typical. Our scope of work here in the Austin area does cover a lot of those things. We do a lot of work in hospitals. We do a lot of work in high rises and hotels. The Tesla plant that's in town, the Samsung semiconductors, we do clean room. So there's a lot of opportunities to learn many different facets of the trade. But the plumbing one was the shortest one, so I wanted Stephanie to show you guys so that you could get an idea, Stephanie, if you want to play it. That's all right. We didn't get the sound, Stephanie. But that's okay. And I'm not going to make you reshare it. So,
Okay.
yeah, no, it's fine. And you can actually find all of these videos if you go to YouTube and just type in United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. They have a YouTube channel where they have videos that talk about everything, the history of the UA, videos about apprenticeship, video about every single facet of apprenticeship. But as you can see, if you want to kind of click through the next few, they have one for what is a pipe fitter that talks about, the typical day in the life of a pipe fitter, excuse me. Pipe fitting is really, really similar to plumbing. A lot of it is just working on different systems. So systems that transport fluids, slurries and gas, the difference being it's not domestic water, it's not drain, waste, and vent. It's diverse in fields such as oil refineries, paper mills, nuclear power plants, manufacturing plants, the automotive industry. A lot of the things moving gases, moving liquids, doing heating and chilled water. Typically it's working with a lot larger pipe, fitting up stuff for the welders to come back and weld behind you. And a lot of pipe fitters learn to weld, a lot of welders learn how to fit. You can go to the next one. What is a welder? Everybody has a pretty good idea of what a welder is. Welder to us is someone who can weld pipe. The only thing that we weld on is pipe. We don't weld structural. We don't weld anything else unless it's round and has some kind of liquid going through it or a gas. Then it's our scope of work. And they can be welding anything from steel, cast iron, plastic, copper, anything. But part of our program is, we'll have folks come in saying they want to be a plumber. They start taking the welding courses and they change paths. They want to become a welder. We have folks come in saying they want to be a welder. They take the plumbing classes and they decide they want to be a plumber. The great thing about our program is it is a combination local. So they are going to take classes that address every scope of work that there is, the plumbing, the pipe fitting, and the welding, with the only exception being the HVAC. Our HVAC students, they are on a completely separate track, and they do HVAC from the second year of their apprenticeship on. So they take the first entry-level classes the same as everyone else, and then their curriculum splits off and goes a separate path. But yeah, you guys should take the time. If you get a chance, check some of these videos out. Feel free to share them. They're pretty interesting. They kind of get you thinking about, hey, maybe this is something that might interest me. But you can go to the next one. So like I said, these careers don't have to stop at, I'm a licensed plumber or I'm a certified welder. We have a lot of members that they work their way through apprenticeship, they work as a journeyman, and then they work their way into a higher position, whether it be in project management, project engineering, MEP coordination. Kind of put a picture here because a lot of people may not know what that means. Mechanical coordination is you have to design all these projects nowadays before they ever start. And so I actually finished the apprenticeship, and the same company that I had worked through my entire apprenticeship through, they gave me an opportunity to do BIM design for their company. And it's, you're drawing out these mechanical systems, the plumbing and the pipe fitting and the HVAC virtually on a computer to coordinate with all the other trades, so that when you start the project, everyone has a set place. You can do your bill of materials, exactly where your pipe is going to be, at what elevation, how long they are. It really is something that interests a lot of young folks today that take an interest in technology. And then some other things on there that you can see, the estimating, inspections, local union officers. going to work within the union itself. And we have a lot of folks that start their own businesses. One of our instructors here went through the entire program, became a journeyman, moved into project management. Once he got into project management, he started teaching here at our school. He did those at the same time for a while. And then about 3 years ago, he started his own company and is signatory with the local. And I want to say last time I looked, he has over 200 employees already in 3 years. So we are super proud of his success that he's had very early on in his career as a business owner. And I think that's it, Stephanie. I think the last slide, actually, there's two more. I apologize. I'm a numbers guy, so I like to put it on, to spark some interest. So I ran the numbers on someone who goes through the entire apprenticeship program, never works a day of overtime, but also never misses a day of work. It's over the course of the 5 years, they pay $750 because there is a $150 a year book fee in a growing industry that's in high demand. And if they show up every day, every year, and never miss a day of work and never work an hour of overtime, they'll make $235,000 on the check and $370,000 if you include their benefits. So an awesome way for somebody to get their foot in the door in an industry and make a really good amount of money. And then the last slide, Stephanie, if you just want to share it, it's got my contact information on there. And I've got a few minutes, I think. Yeah, I've got some time. If anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Good morning. I'm Melanie Henson. I'm from Manor Senior High School. I really appreciate being able to join your meeting and learn more about the skilled trades. I worked only with seniors as they make their college, career, military plans. I have recently had a number of seniors interested in these skilled trades. And so I have been searching, and Ms. Scriven has been wonderful. I'm so appreciative of having her work with us at the high school to kind of find these places that students want to go. They don't want to go to college, they don't want to go to military, and not all of them can qualify for FAFSA. So they're pretty much just kind of out there trying to figure out what to do and how to get started. So my interest in these apprenticeships is huge, simply because I'm looking for other avenues for students who have no other interest. And no other means to get into the workforce. I love what you've shared. This has really been impactful. I'm super excited to have your slide deck to share with my seniors. I do have a question, as I'm meeting with some seniors every single hour of the day as we move towards the end of school year. Do you have, I heard you mention HVAC apprenticeships and maybe construction apprenticeships. Could you address that just for a minute? And then I will back up and let y'all continue your meeting.
Well, thanks, Melanie. Yes, we do. HVAC does make up a portion. It's HVAC service technicians. They make up a portion of our apprenticeship program. Really similar. I have a lot of similarities with what Karina is going to talk about being on the sheet metal side. Construction is such a broad term. There's so many different paths that they could go into construction. And we do, I know Jessica said that I was going to speak on MC3. Jessica, I don't think it's part of my presentation, but the MC3 program that we have in place is a pre-apprenticeship program. We have one that actually starts on the 19th. And we do still have some spots available if anyone has someone in the Travis County area that's interested in taking that class. But it's a 2-week look at all the different avenues they can take with a registered apprenticeship program. I see Mark Pendleton's in the meeting. Mark's with IBEW Electricians. Karina's with Local 67. Bobby Vasquez, I don't know if he's in here or not, is with the Carpenters Union. So there's a lot of different paths that they can go to get into construction. They can go into a carpentry apprenticeship. They can go into a sheet metal apprenticeship, sprinkler fitting, iron worker, plumber, pipe fitter, welder, electrician, an insulators. The insulators have an apprenticeship program. So there's a lot of different avenues that they could take to get their foot in the door. So Melanie, the one thing I'll tell you is, once we are post-pandemic, because when we were pre-pandemic, we would have high schools come to our training centers. And if you guys are to the point where you're starting to kind of do that again, We can socially distance as best as we possibly can. But I schedule interviews, tour dates with local high schools all the time, where they bring students in and can talk about and learn about the program, as well as kind of see the classroom settings, the shop settings that they can be looking forward to. So feel free to reach out to me if you want, and I can get you in touch with the different trade organizations. If they're plumbing, pipe fitting, welding, obviously I can answer any questions that they have for us or point them in the right direction.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate it. Well, we're not at the point where we're going any field trips. Everything is done via Zoom, of course. But I just wanted to make sure I have a contact so that I can at least reach out and say, this is a young man who's interested in, and then then therefore, as I understand, you will be able to connect them with the right, in the right pathway, the right direction, right category of whatever that construction might look like.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. So I think that is the only other question that we had. So I think you're good to go, Brian.
Hey,
we have
Stephanie.
yes.
This
Okay.
is Linda from Austin ISD, CTE.
Oh, hey, good morning.
Good morning. I had a quick question for Brian.
Okay,
I
go
was
ahead.
curious, does he have an average age for a first-year apprentice?
The last time we calculated the average age, it was for the entire apprenticeship. And the average age for our apprentice was 27 years old. There is.
What about your first years? If you had to guess.
It's kind of all over the map. I have first year apprentices that are in their 60s.
Oh, wow.
And I have first year apprentices who are just turned 18. So, the age range is pretty wide. And like I said, we're non-discriminatory. If they're physically, mentally capable and willing to do this for a living, we're going to give an opportunity to try to learn it, to try to do it. So, they don't have to be a recent high school graduate. Like I said, it can be, somebody later on in life that's wanting to make a career change or, learn a skilled trade. So yeah, we're welcoming anyone who's interested.
And what about the male to female ratio?
We have, we've seen a lot of growth within females in our organization over the last few years, with a big push from our end to try to explain and show them that they are able and capable to do this for a living. I would say we're pushing about 2% female, with our goal to raise that significantly. We hired our first female instructor, I want to say 2 years ago. So she's been a big help recruiting women into our organization. So they are there. It's just sheer numbers. We don't see the number of applicants from females that we do for males. That was my point of focus was, are we seeing, what percentage of applications are we seeing from females? And it was closer to 1%. So looking to get that number up, the number of females that are interested in doing this for a living.
Well, I will spread the word. So great stuff, great information for me to share. So thank you for doing a great job.
Thank you.
Great. And so Melanie did ask about the MC3 program that opens in the summer after the June 1st graduation. So I had wrote her back and said that we'll share that flyer through the skilled trades listserv once you guys come up with that date and get those applications start coming in. Because as of right now, we just have the April date and then a July cohort for Del Valley ISD. And then is that correct for July to be opened up to other districts?
I think if there's the space, then yes. And I will say with the MC3 is structured really similar to the way that Local 286 and all these other apprenticeship programs are structured. It's an on-demand thing. We don't want to train just for the sake of training. We want to train to put people to work. So when we hold those classes, it's because there's a need for those entry-level employees. So I wish it was something that we could just do repeatedly over and over and over again. But the one thing that we don't want to do is have a whole bunch of folks that take that training with the hopes of getting a job, and then we're not able to place them. Because so far, and I know I'm not giving the MC3 presentation, but super proud of the fact that every single student that has taken that pre-apprenticeship class and graduated has gone to work for a registered apprenticeship program, one of their contractors. So we've been able to offer 100% placement upon graduation. So something that we're going to try to stick to, and something we're going to try to make happen every time. But yes, we do try to plan every single year to have some right after graduation to give those high school seniors an opportunity that are looking to transition into construction industry, a way to get their foot in the door.
Wonderful. All right, Brian. Well, thank you very much for speaking about the plumbing and pipe fitter career, as well as welder. And then, of course, we will be sharing his portion of the slide deck and the master deck with you guys via email who have attended and registered. So you will get access to those videos, his email contact, and any other things that you guys may need. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next guest speaker, who is going to be highlighting the career as a sheet metal worker, as well as the local 286, and that is going to be Miss Karina. And she's the apprenticeship training center here at the Austin local Union 67. So I'll allow her to take it over from here and start introducing herself, talking about the program, as well as the sheet metal worker. Thank you, Karina, for being here.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me. And thank you, Brian, for letting me chime in to what should have been your presentation, but I'm joining in to share some about the sheet metal workers apprenticeship training. And I'm Karina Pereira, and I'm the director here. I've only been here since September 1st, so I don't have quite the details that Brian was able to share, but I'll try to wing it. And you can move to the next slide, guys, please. Thank you. So the Sheet Metal Workers Apprenticeship Training Center opened in Austin, Texas in 2005. It serves local Union 67 signatory contractors and its members in the Austin area. The sheet metal worker apprentices go to work 40 hours a week and attend school 2 nights a week. We are right across the street from plumber and pipe fitters training center, and we do kind of mimic each other as far as what we offer as training and what days and nights and times, and you'll see that as I go forward. There's a total of 200 hours of instruction per year. It's a 4-year program, so it totals 800 hours. We are looking at increasing that. That will probably happen not this coming year, but the following year. Classes are tuition free. iPads, a drafting kit, welding gear, and other essentials that students will need to be successful in the program are provided for them. Journeyperson sheet metal workers earn about $27.29 an hour, and the full package with benefits is worth $42.54 an hour. Apprentices earn about 50% of a journeyperson wage, with a 5% wage increase every 6 months with passing grades, acceptable attendance record, and good employer evaluations. Applicants must have a high school diploma, GED, or at least be able to provide their transcripts showing that they've completed a high school or equivalent type of program. Valid governmental issue ID, photo ID. It doesn't require a driver's license, but it does require that you are able to provide adequate transportation to and from school and the job site that you'll work at. Social security card, birth certificate, or U.S. passport, and selective service registration is required for males. And again, reliable transportation is a must. Applicants must be able to lift at least 25 pounds and be able to safely perform the work. This training center accepts apprenticeship applications year-round on Monday and Wednesday from 1 to 4 p.m. Applicants can go to work immediately as pre-apprentice classification. So it's similar to the unindentured classification that's offered at plumbers and pipe fitters. We just call it pre-apprentice. Classes for apprentices begin every fall and continue through May for 4 years. Graduations take place every August of every year. So we're getting ready for that. And then the next slide. So sheet metal work consists of designing, fabricating, and installing HVAC units, testing, adjustment, and balancing of air and water systems, and ensuring safe and efficient refrigeration systems. This is just some of the work we do. So on this slide, you'll see some pictures there of that type of work, and some of the career opportunities would be a fabricator, detailer, service technician, indoor air quality technician, test and balancing technician, also called a tab technician, energy management technician, sound and vibration, HVAC service, project or facility manager, energy consumption manager, systems installer, evaluator, or designer, and building systems commissioning agent. In addition, many would go into perhaps becoming their own contractor, and then also we have all of our instructors are also sheet metal workers as well. And you can move to the next slide, please. Sheet metal work also includes opportunities in detailing, which consists of AutoCAD, drafting, working with plans and specs, taking field measurements, and creating 3D drawings. Commercial sign design, development and fabrication, industrial sheet metal welding for large-scale projects. That includes plasma cutting, grinding, and other related sheet metal equipment. And metal architecture, which you'll see in some of the pictures here, is quite prevalent, and you'll see around the city of Austin a lot of this type of architecture. And so our trade actually fabricates these designs and installs them. So the designing, modifying, and installing of industrial roofs, modern metal buildings, and 3D metal structures. So it's very exciting work. I'm kind of new to the sheet metal industry, and I'm learning as I go along, and I'm just very impressed with some of what these folks learn and what they're actually able to perform after 4 years, or even within 4 years. There's a couple of different career pathways that are here in the Austin Training Center. So that would include the HVAC program, which is, again, designing and installing those HVAC systems, and welding, and the other one is our test and balancing. And so these are the contractors that we have in our area that that are primarily employing this type, or performing this type of work in the area. We do have a couple contractors that primarily do sign work, and also this 3D metal type of architectural work. And it is very exciting and thrilling, and I don't think a lot of people know about it, because this was the first I really got a good dive into what all of this work was about. And I think a lot of people just assume it's HVAC, and it's so much more than that. So I really wanted to share some pictures to highlight that. We do have several hundred training centers around the country and beyond. I couldn't tell you exactly how many members are represented. We do have a International Training Institute that provides a lot of the online training for ourselves, our instructors, our members, and apprentices as well. But we do all of the classroom instruction here at our training center in Austin. You can find videos as well on all of this that you can share with students. It is the ITI, or International Training Institute for Sheet Metal Workers, and you can find that on YouTube, and there's plenty of content there that could really highlight what the work is like, what an apprenticeship is like, what a day in the life of a sheet metal worker apprentice looks like. My goodness, we cover about the same territory as the plumbers and pipe fitters do, with the exception of we do probably move a little further south. And we do have another training center in San Antonio. So anyone that happens to be at a location or a school that's a little further south could also work with our sister school down in San Antonio. Currently, I'm very proud to say that since I arrived here on September 1st, I have yet to see an apprentice out of work for more than a couple of days. So as jobs end, those individuals are moved to another job site pretty quickly, with Tesla and several other projects going on around our region. Nobody's really been out of work, and it's much different than what I experienced working in California, when people could be out of work for months and months at a time. So I'm very impressed with that, and I think it helps to keep these students learning on the job and coming back to school and finding themselves successful and staying on their feet throughout the program. Like plumbers and pipe fitters, an individual would work 300 hours before their health and welfare benefits would kick in. We are currently looking for at minimum 100 pre-apprentices that should start work immediately. That's just how much the work has grown over the last 6 months. Our contractors are having a very hard time finding individuals to go into this work. It's very diverse in age groups, just like in the plumbers and pipe fitters program. And we started out in September 1st with about 120 apprentices. Probably needed much more, but that's what we ended up with. And as of today, we've got about 86 in the program. I have only about, I want to say 19 graduating July 31st. So we definitely need to double in size. Any pre-apprentice that starts in the program and working for a contractor at any time, and we have hundreds of them right now, they're referred into the program by their contractor. And then we also take applications and interview over the summer for new applicants who didn't choose to go in as a pre-apprentice immediately and go straight to work, but that option is available. And I think that pretty much covers everything that I was prepared to say today. So if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them. I guess I can look at the chat.
Yeah, feel free to insert your questions in the chat, or if you would like to unmute yourself, you're more than welcome to ask Karina directly about the sheet metal work, or any other questions that you have about your students, maybe asking questions about sheet metal work or becoming a sheet metal worker. We'll give you guys time to ask those questions in the chat or unmute yourself.
I apologize, I didn't put up a slide with my contact information, but I can provide that now, or I'll put it in the chat if that's okay. We are in the middle of putting together a website. Currently, we do not have one, but I do need to spend about 16 hours of writing content for that website still. So as soon as I find time to get that done, you will see it go live. And that website will be bigger. It's bigger, better, smarter.org. And that encompasses both our San Antonio and our Austin apprenticeship programs.
Wonderful. So I do see a question that Jessica said. She said, you probably might have shared this already, but what are the major projects as the sheet metal workers are working on in Austin today?
The only thing that keeps coming to mind is Tesla, because I just keep getting phone call after phone call from people, from contractors looking for individuals to come to work at the Tesla plant. And we just don't have the bodies, unfortunately, and that's why I'm on this call today. Hopefully we'll be able to get some help recruiting individuals to go to work. I want to say there's a lot going on downtown, and I feel like there's the Samsung plant too is a pretty big one right now. So they're adding some buildings there, and I feel like I've got a good number of apprentices that are working over there as well. Some of these projects, like say, for example, Samsung requires that individuals have a clean background, where other projects like Tesla, that is not their concern. I will tell you, in all of the building trades, and most of you would probably already know this, but there is no tolerance for drug use. So every job site that an individual goes on, and also randomly, there is drug testing that takes place. It's a huge safety concern. We lose a lot of apprentices because of it. It is something that's pretty active at every employer, every contractor, every job site. It's very common to be drug tested randomly, and so unfortunately we lose folks from that. But not every job and not every contractor is real concerned about clean background, but there are some. And that does hinder some of our apprentices from time to time. But again, I haven't seen anyone be out of work for more than a couple of days regardless. And I'm just really excited about that, because it's not very common where I come from.
Absolutely. Do you mind putting in the chat, Karina, a good search content that somebody can put into YouTube to find a video? I see Ms. Henson is asking for one to share with her students.
Sure, I'll work on that before I jump off the call, and I'll add all the rest of my information. I think what happened is I hit enter in the chat thinking it was going to drop to the next line. I was going to continue writing information, but I'll just insert a few different things, and you all can take from it what you need. But I'm happy to speak with you and give you more information. Currently, right now, I'm going to be doing a few different Zoom meetings with students at other high schools, or maybe someone on this call's high school. So feel free to contact me if you'd like me to also jump in on a Zoom, do 10 or 15 minutes just discussing with your students and answering their questions. I have some brochures and applications. And right now, due to COVID, we are accepting applications via email as well. And I'll start typing that information in now.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know the applications were being sent in via email, so that's awesome. Thank you so much for your presentation and your time. I'll allow you to continue to chat information in the chat box so that way the teachers and everybody can get in contact with you. I appreciated your slides. With the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and move forward with Daniel Lopez, and he's with the capital area at ACC. So if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, Daniel, I will allow you to present.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephanie, for the invitation. Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Lopez. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at Capital Idea. And I'm going to give you a brief overview about what we do and how our partnership works with ACC, Austin Community College, and Temple College. So just to clear things up, a lot of people who apply for our program believe that we are a school, which is not the case, right? You're not going to be going to the Capital Idea College or the Capital Idea School. So what's happening here is that Capital Idea works with many types of donors in the area, and we raise funds to be able to provide scholarships, right? So those scholarships are then given to students who qualify, who are interested in going to college, attending ACC or Temple College to earn an associate degree. So that's how it works, right? So if nothing else out of this presentation, think about Capital Idea as your opportunity to obtain a free community college degree. That's how it works, okay? So with that said, I'm gonna move on to the next slide, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about the benefits that you get by becoming a Capital Idea Scholar. Maybe one more. Excellent, that's great. So here at Capital Idea, we offer you 3 types of benefits. Let's go back one. Awesome. No, back.
Oh, it's going on its own. I think it's on a timer here. Let me try to pause it.
My apologies. I should have just sent you the plain, the plain option. It's okay.
Okay.
There you go. That's it. Awesome. Oh, I see what's happening. It's okay.
Okay,
so number one is we're going to talk about the benefits. So here at Capital Idea, we offer you 3 types of, let's say, services, right? So number 1, lots of financial assistance. Number 2, academic coaching. Number 3, career placement acceleration. So here's how it works. When you become a Capital Idea Scholar, we're going to pay for all of your tuition, right? From day 1 until you graduate, all of your tuition, required textbooks, fees, uniforms, tools, and if your situation requires it, we're also going to help you pay for childcare and aftercare expenses. So that's the financial assistance component of the program. The other thing is academic guidance. So every Capital Idea student, when you get into the program, you're going to be connected with a coach. We call them career navigators here at Capital Idea. Their job, right, if nothing else, is to make sure that you graduate successfully and on time. They're going to be there to help you select your the right courses. They're going to be there to make sure you graduate on time. They're going to be there to help you solve any problems that might derail your academic path. Once again, to make sure that you graduate successfully and you graduate on time. And then lastly, the third component, which is career placement acceleration. So toward the end of your degree, what's going to happen is you're going to start working with our placement coordinator. And he's the guy who's going to make the magic work for you. So he's going to be able to connect you with local area employers. He's going to be there to help you maybe refine your resume if necessary. If you feel like your interviewing skills need to be improved, he's going to be able to provide you with that type of coaching. So that's what you get as a capital idea scholar. Now, it sounds very exciting, especially the financial assistance component of the program, right? Free college, that's awesome. But there's a couple of things you need to know before you decide to apply for the program. Number one, you must be eligible to obtain the scholarship. And number two, you must be interested in one of the groups of degrees that we sponsor. So I want to talk to you about number one in detail, very briefly here, which is eligibility. In order for you to be able to get into the program, you must be 18 or older, right? So we don't have an upper age limit, but you must be 18 to be able to submit your application. Number two, remember, you're going into college. So what's happening here is that you must have your high school diploma or your GED certificate to be able to get into college. Number three, we can only give you the opportunity if you are a first-time college student. That means that if you already have a degree, maybe an associate degree or higher credential, we will not be able to help. Now, there's a couple of exceptions there, right? So for example, if you attended college in the past, but didn't get to graduate, we can still help you, right? Because again, that's kind of like the catch. As long as you didn't get your degree, then that's how we can help. And then also, if you're a professional, a practitioner right now, let's say you are an LVN, or maybe a dental assistant, maybe you're a phlebotomist, and you want to take the next step, go to the next level and become an RN, since what you have to be able to practice is a certification, that's the catch there, that's the technicality, right? So we can help you and we can take you from that certification up to the next level, which will be your associate degree, okay? Number four, we can only help residents of the Williamson, Travis, and Hayes counties. You must be a US citizen or permanent resident to be able to be eligible for the program. And then lastly, you must meet certain income levels, right? Really more than anything, be at or below a certain income level. So I don't have those details here, but I'm going to talk about that toward the end of the presentation. So we're going to move on to the next, because remember, I told you that you needed to know two pieces of information before applying. Number one, qualifications, which you just covered. Number two, the types of programs we sponsor. So once again, ACC, Temple College, they offer you an amazing array of professional choices, right? A lot of degree plans. But here's the thing, right? Here at Capital Idea, we can only help you if you are focused in one of the three academic paths we sponsor, which is number one, health sciences, number two, information technology, number three, other careers that we've basically lumped together, including lots of trades. In fact, we work with a lot of our partners here. We work with the electricians union, with the plumbers union, so that our students have that opportunity. And more than anything, really the chance to obtain those benefits that, for example, Brian was talking earlier about, right? Health insurance, which is really important. So those are your three academic paths. Now, I'm not going to take the the remaining time telling you every single career we sponsor, but at your leisure, you can visit our website, capitalidea.org/programs, so that you can have access to the full list of careers we sponsor, okay? So we're going to move on to the next slide, and we're going to talk about what's the catch, right? Because a lot of our students, a lot of our applicants hear what we offer them, right? So it's a lot of financial assistance, academic coaching. We'll also help you find employment and make it happen fast. So they're always thinking, right? I mean, there must be a catch. This is too great to be true. And really, to be honest with you, there really isn't a catch. There are no strings attached. However, we want our students to adhere to a number of commitments to become a successful Capital Idea Scholar. And those are, number one, you must be committed to graduate. Graduation is the number one thing. Number two, you are required to graduate and then go to work and remain employed full-time for 2 years after graduation, right? Now, I don't see that so much as a sort of a commitment, because in the end, I mean, most of us go to college so then we can go to work, right? So it's not so much of a commitment, but you have to know that. And just know that the Capital Idea program does not end after you graduate. It actually ends, once again, 2 years after you graduate, just to make sure we keep an eye on you and to make sure that we actually made an impact, a positive impact in your life. Okay. And then lastly, we want our students to basically be able to go out there and help the community, give back to the community. Those are the three commitments. As you recall, no money exchange is mentioned. That's because the program, again, is absolutely free. So now, as you all may imagine, the pandemic just basically swept through, and we were all forced to, change things and how we operate. The application process, right, for the Capital Idea Scholarship has completely moved on to online, components. So the application, all the steps you need to take to complete it, you will find it on our website, capitalidea.org, under the Get Started tab. You will click on the application steps, and we will tell you, we have numbered every single step that you have to take. Now, the reason why you have this such a short presentation today is because every single student who is interested in the program is actually required to attend something like this just for Capital Idea, right? And we're gonna give you more details. We're gonna talk to you more in depth about commitments. We're going to talk to you more in depth about the types of careers we sponsor. We might have a representative from ACC explaining how it works and types of academics, things like registration, testing, and all of those things. So right now, my goal is to project to you the basics, hopefully to entice your imagination and your desire to follow through with the program. But once again, the first step is to sign up to attend an information session on our website, capitalidea.org. And just because I have a few high school representatives here, the application period for high school students is going to open June 1st. So I think that's all I have for today. And if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat, and I would love to answer them.
Awesome. Yes, it looks like Melanie Henson has asked, what if a high school student took dual credit classes in high school but does not have an associate's yet, only a high school diploma?
Yeah, we can help. And many times with the ACC program, which is the early college high school, depending on the degree, right? If your student obtained maybe a pre-health sciences, general studies degree, we can still help them. If it was, for example, a general studies associate degree that they received through the early college high school program through ACC, we can still help them. But that only typically applies to students who have those types of degrees from ACC. So dual credit, it's all good. We can help.
Great. Thank you, Daniel. If we have any other questions, I would love for you guys who are attending to ask us in the chat and allow Daniel to answer through there. Just for the respective time, we are at 10:40, so we have two more speakers to talk about their highlights and kind of how we can get more opportunities to your students. So I want to allow them some more time. So Daniel, if you wouldn't mind answering them in the chat for any questions that are coming through for Capital Idea. We're going to go ahead and move on to skilled trades. No, thank you. We're going to go through the GCTA program here with Goodwill. And the person we have talking with us is Ted. So Ted, I will allow you to unmute yourself and just let me know when you need me to move over to the next slide.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks everyone for being here. Wow, this is quite a group. There's so much good information and assistance. Daniel, that was really amazing to see what Capital Idea does for people. That's I'm really looking forward to seeing see the fruits for that in the future. So what I want to talk about is a little bit about what GCTA, Goodwill GCTA does. And I am the skilled trades instructor with Goodwill GCTA. And what we're doing is providing training. Brian talked about the MT3 curriculum. And what we're doing, and MT3 is a great curriculum, what we're doing is using a different nationally recognized credential. You can go ahead and forward to the next slide, Stephanie. Thank you. which is another comprehensive curriculum. Just a little bit about me and my P card hat there. I've worked with at Promise Youth for a long time, 25 years, worked with Youth Build, worked with Jessica at American Youth Works, done a lot of construction training, building science training, workforce development here domestically in Serbia, Bosnia, and Dominican Republic and some other places. So I've seen some different aspects, but there's a lot of commonalities too. So that's what we're hoping to do here at GCTA, is provide people with that opportunity through this condensed training. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about, is the training that we're offering here at GCTA, how we're trying to get people the credentials that they need, that they want to get into that living wage job, so that they can get right back to the workforce and contribute and work on. I think Brian used the word springboard. Like to use that stackable credentials, and I know we've used that in different contexts. We can go ahead and go to the next slide if you have enough of looking at me. And the NCCR, which stands for the National Center for Construction Education and Research, it's a nonprofit developed through the University of Florida as a nonprofit. I'm not going to read all of these bullets, but it is to provide a group of SMEs, subject matter experts, came together and kind of reverse engineered this curriculum and said, what do we need to get someone to be at a functional, high-performing pre-apprenticeship level worker? And so they developed this program and said, okay, we need this, we need safety, we need blueprint reading, something that Jessica mentioned earlier is one of the high needs in the area. Blueprint reading is one of the components in the core curriculum. So these subject matter experts designed this curriculum so that it would incorporate all of those components for people who get their certification. Developed, like I said, with 125 CEOs and SMEs, and then what that means is the basics of the NCCR is the core curriculum, and that's one of the offerings here at GCTA. The core curriculum is the fundamental offering, and so it's a very comprehensive, very umbrella type structure, so that it incorporates safety, of course, safety first, construction math, hand tools, power tools, blueprint reading, rigging, material handling, things like that. And then after that, the student has the opportunity to branch out into over 70 different crafts. So you may think of, so they can branch out into 70 different trades, depending. It could be renewable energies, it could be HVAC, it could be plumbing, pipe fitters, it could be heavy equipment operating, wind turbine technicians, all kinds of things. So once they get finished with that core curriculum, they can decide where they want to go. The core curriculum is a prerequisite before they go into these different crafts. What we're offering here and providing at the GCTA is not only this certification for the NCCR core curriculum and for the electrical worker. There also is the plumbing. There's also the pipe fitter, but also embedded in this NCCR is the OSHA card. So we have the opportunity to deliver the OSHA 10 and the OSHA 30, both in construction and general industry. So that's something that we're looking at generating. I like what Brian was saying earlier, is that we just don't train to train. We have, when we have a workforce, when we have people who are needing this training, then we can decide whether it's construction or general industry for the card training. NCCR maintains credentialing, and this is one of the beauties of it. NCCR, the platform for NCCR training is a blended learning, both in the classroom, the theoretical, the comprehension part of it in the classroom, and then the competency part of it, which is in the shop. So they need to demonstrate that they can actually do the work with their hands-on component, and that's called a performance profile, which the instructor oversees that they can do it, and then they need to demonstrate that they understand it, they intellectually, that they grasp this. And that's why every component, every unit in NCCR has both a written test and a performance test, so that they can demonstrate that they can do both things. They understand the knowledge and they can apply that knowledge to the workforce, so that when they graduate, there is a demonstrated, there's a card, a little wallet card that each graduate gets, that they can, so that they can demonstrate that they've achieved that. All right, so here's a basic outline of it. Thank you. Go ahead, you're in the right place. Go ahead and advance that to the next one, if you would. And there's a little on those bullet points. There we go. Thank you very much. So the 72 hours plus the OSHA, the safety is embedded in that. I am able to offer the OSHA card because I'm an authorized outreach trainer for OSHA in both construction and general industries. So that's how we can offer the OSHA authorization as well. But like it says here on these bullet boards, again, going through all of those are the main components for the core construction. And we, as you see there on the graphic, it's 4 weeks. So we want to get people in here, get them their certificate, get them back out into the workforce, get them back to what they're doing and earning more money, so that they can provide. And again, that's that stackable credentials. Brian did a really good job of mentioning that they can go in as a technician, and then they can grow within that. And NCCR offers that elevated training and that completion. It can be in a safety certification as well. So you can see all of this. Completing the curriculum gives the trainee a basic needs to, and what I want to mention also is that all of the NCCR curriculum meets or exceeds all of the Department of Labor apprenticeship level training requirements. So let me just emphasize that. Meets or exceeds the Department of Labor's requirements for apprenticeship level training. This is a pre-apprenticeship training, so we are right on track. We're not a registered apprenticeship program, but we teach and instruct at the level of the apprenticeship training. So this is a condensed training, get people back into their lives, get them back to earning money, and so that they can earn a livable wage while they continue to elevate their knowledge, skills, and abilities. There is a background check. High school diploma is encouraged but not required. Also, I want to talk about something that was mentioned earlier, is the background check versus a drug test. I think Karina was talking about the drug testing. And I want to make sure we understand that definition. Like there are a lot of contractors and a lot of potential employers who do a background check, but that doesn't necessarily exclude this graduate from employment. They may say, okay, if you've done the right things to get on the right career pathway, then we'll take you. So another one of the certifications that we'll be working with here, and I think you can go ahead if I have one more. I'm not sure. We stuck one more. No. Okay. Yes. So here's about the background check. One of the things we offer is the CAMT, which, if you think of multifamily apartments, multifamily housing, these are the technicians. That's the certificate for apartment maintenance technician, the CAMT. And we're also offering that. As you can imagine, that's technicians going into people's apartments and doing the work, changing, doing make-readies and all of that. So the background is an important piece of that. There are some properties that require that to be a passable background check, and other ones, they'll say this, so long as they've made the changes and they have a clean record up till in the last couple of years, they'll go ahead and hire them. So this is a case-by-case basis. I don't want to say that a background check will exclude people from being an apartment technician, because it's up to the employer. Of course, like it says on the bullet point there, history of violent crime, theft, identify, or fraud could lead to various employment. Of course, that makes sense, but there are exceptions to that. So if somebody goes through the CAMT, but they can't work in a multifamily setting, like an apartment complex, they could work in an office building where they could go in and do facilities maintenance in that office building. So there's that. I may have one more, Stephanie, but I know we're running short on time. So I will, yeah, if you have any questions, I know that was the fast and furious version, but we're getting close to time and I want to make sure and get through that. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat and I can answer there, and then we'll go on to the next one. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. And thank you for making yourself available in the chat box to be able to answer any questions that they may have over anything you presented on. We'll go ahead and move forward strong with Aaron Hill. He is the Community Outreach Coordinator Director of Programs at SkillPoint Alliance. Actually, this isn't Aaron Hill. I'm not sure why this is here. We have Kevin who's here. I apologize for that. Thank you so much for being so patient with us and allowing everybody to speak. I'm so happy to have you here. If you could, I'm gonna allow you to unmute yourself so that way you can just let me know when to proceed to the next slide. Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Kevin Brackmar. I'm the Executive Director at SkillPoint Alliance, and great to be here. Really great audience today. So I'll hop right to it. I guess we'll go to the first slide. And I'll start with a little bit about SkillPoint Alliance. SkillPoint Alliance has been around since 1994. We provide in-demand workforce training to individuals who have recently graduated from high school, unemployed, underemployed, or just looking for a new career. Our mission is to break the cycle of poverty by providing life-changing opportunities to individuals throughout the community, and also to help meet the industry needs for qualified employees. Let's go to the next slide. Our programs are 4 to 6 weeks long. They're free to anyone that's enrolled. We specialize in job training for low-income, high-barrier individuals. Programs are a great fit for recent high school graduates. As a matter of fact, 47% of our students that go through our program are opportunity students. And so we pride ourselves on outreach to graduating students. Next slide. Our pre-apprentice plumbing program prepares students for entry-level apprenticeship work in the plumbing field. Again, it's at no cost to the student. We provide support in applying for plumbing apprenticeship license from the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners. We do soft skills training with our students, help them prepare a resume. Students who go through our program, we have a student success coordinator that provides support for our students throughout the program. We connect them with childcare services. We provide transportation, bus passes. We really work to eliminate any barriers that our students may have while they're in the class, and then try to provide extended services once they graduate. A student who comes to our program will spend approximately about 160 hours with us. It's Monday through Friday. We treat our programs just like a real job. We prepare them with a variety of different skills. They'll learn about construction math, how to read a tape measure, safety, hand tools. Then they'll learn about various types of pipe, plastic, steel, copper, using pipe hangers, cutting and threading pipe. All kinds of different components that are related to the plumbing industry, and our programs were designed with significant input from the plumbing industry. Students will also obtain their OSHA 10 certification during the program. And let's see, next slide, please. The application process, it is virtual at this time. Students would go to our website and apply online at the website there. There's a phone interview that's involved with the admissions team. There's an assessment they'll have to do. There will be an additional interview, and then eligibility documents. It's a pretty simple process that they'll go through. Once they get all that taken care of, they'll start the class. We have a very strong partnership with a variety of different employers throughout the community. There's been a lot of information about wages and all of that. I had some stories to tell, but the wages are there. I've got an employer who told me about a student that he had hired less than a year ago. It's making $60,000 a year with benefits. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. With the recent storm, obviously the plumbers are in real short supply. Demand has escalated exponentially. So we've got a class actually starting Monday that we're currently filling right now up to the last minute as a result of phone calls that we've gotten from different plumbing contractors. So we're excited to get that going. We do offer other programs. We have an electrical program, it's pre-apprentice as well. We have an HVAC program and a certified production tech for the manufacturing industry. So again, next slide. We do have a hybrid program right now. We've got students that are coming in person and virtual. Our programs are year round. And again, we have one that's starting on the 12th. So if you're interested, definitely reach out to us. Next slide. Here's some contacts for us. If you're interested in our programs, please feel free to reach out. Apologize that I had to go through this so quick, but I know we're coming up on 11 o'clock here. But if you have any questions, please do feel free to reach out. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yes, please ask any questions that you guys have about Skill Point Alliance to Kevin while we have him here. I know that we're approaching 11 o'clock in just 1 minute. And if you do have to excuse yourself and go, that is perfectly fine. This is going to be recorded and we are going to send this out along with the slide deck so that way you have both the information and the audio to go with that. So if you can hang on tight afterwards, that would be greatly appreciated. If you cannot go stay any longer, need to go, that's perfectly fine too. Insert any questions that you guys may have for Kevin here about Skill Point Alliance, because they really are changing lives, offering a bunch of wraparound services with the main focus of making sure that their students succeed and make a living wage. So utilize that chat box. We're going to go ahead and move on and he will answer anything we have here. For any of the classes that Skill Point may be having, like their Monday class or any other trade trainings that they're going to be having going forward that your students could participate from, any residents in their home that is a Travis County resident that could take advantage of these programs, please look out for the Skill Trades listserv, because by registering for this webinar, you are being added to the email listserv. So any flyers that we get from Skill Point Alliance, from Goodwill GCTA, from Capital Idea, from Workforce Solutions, from Local 286 to the Local 67, any MC3 classes we have, we'll be pushing it out to this listserv so that way everybody can be in the know of this. And you can share with your students, you can share with parents, you can share with community members and anybody who can participate. And you can use this email too to send out just something individually that you have. Maybe teachers, you have a student who needs a one-on-one to talk to a plumber about a day in the life and what does that career path look like, or if it's for an electrician, or if it's for manufacturing, like Kevin was talking about. If you need a presentation for your class and you would like to invite Skill Point, or you would like to invite the Local 67 to come and present to your class, please email through there and saying, hey, I have availability, April 15th at 1:30 to 3. Do I have anybody who would be able to present on plumbing? And then of course, you'll get a tremendous amount of feedback being able to help you guys with that. So utilize our listserv for your needs. Moving forward, we have the Rework Now. So just make sure that you are, of course, referring out any of your students or anybody who needs any type of assistance. This goes beyond plumbing, pipe fitting, and sheet metal working. This can go into IT. This can go into healthcare. This can go into welding, truck driving, and of course, skilled trades. So spaces are limited. So the clients are able to apply today to learn more about the eligibility and training programs that are available. So if you have any questions about the Rework Now program with the Workforce Solutions Capital Area, they can be emailed at wfs.werc@wfscapitalarea.com. Of course, you guys are more than welcome to give us a call at 512-381-51 60. And then you talked about some of the teachers were asking about the MC3 program. So I know you guys were wondering what that is and when the next one is. Unfortunately, if you don't have any students who are graduating up until June, they won't be able to participate in this particular class, but there will be some after graduation. So this MC3 April class is a free 2-week training that is going to be available for anybody to try a array of skilled trades training for the 2-week period. And at the end, they'll go through some mock interviews. They'll go through some actual interviews and potentially get a job if they are qualified and get hired through somebody. They can go in thinking that they want to be a welder and walk away signing into the IBEW Electricians Brotherhood Union. So it's a great way for them to get their feet wet in every single trade, work with their hands and figure out what they're best in and join an apprenticeship here in Austin. So we have the eligibility link for them to get started at that. You will receive the flyer separately via email. And if you have any questions, the email for this specifically is mc3coordinator@gmail.com, or you can contact Brian, who was our first speaker with the local 286. Moving on, we have our summer teacher externship. So if I have any teachers still on board with us right now, I would love for you guys to refer this out, take this as an opportunity to perhaps join yourself in. This is going to be taking place in June 2021. And so this is a great way for any teachers, counselors in middle school or high school to get more knowledge into a field that maybe they need some more extend awareness in. So that way they can promote this to their students back in their high schools. We'll also ask them to create a lesson plan so that way we can share with other teachers to be used in their campuses. So this is an externship. So this means the teachers go into the businesses and learn about it, whether it's in healthcare, IT, skilled trades, automotive. We have so much employers who are looking for these Austin teachers to be hosted at their location of business and learn and see and feel anything that they want to, so that way they can understand and preach to the students exactly what they're looking for at their business. So you guys can sign up with our link. I'll send that out. And any questions regarding the summer teacher externship, that will be directed to our outreach specialist who serves Elgin, Manor, and Pflugerville. Her name is Shannon Scriven, and her email is shannon.scriven@wfscapitalarea.com. And next month, our K-12 Skill Trades Work Group panel is going to be covering the Carpenters Local and Gray Star, which is a wonderful externship opportunity we have in the summer for students to participate after they graduate. But we're going to be learning about the career journeys of carpenter and maintenance workers. So I know we had a few teachers who were asking about carpentry and how they can get into construction. This would be one of the ways, and we're actually going to be having that local 1266 with us to be speaking about that. And of course, if you register for this one, you might be registered to attend already. But if you know any teachers that are in your district who teach carpentry or anything in construction, you can invite them to attend so they can learn more and connect with their local unions. We're starting something off really cool this year in the summer. We really want to get our students into our social media a little bit more. And so what we're doing here is we're asking some of these high school graduates who are going to be class of 2021 to send in submit a photo of like a selfie of themselves to our K-12 awareness@capitalarea.com, and then just telling us a little bit about what their goals are after high school. And then from there, we would post them onto our IG, Facebook, and Twitter. So if you could encourage your students to send something to us, we would love to feature them onto our social media. And for our contractors, business people here, we would love to invite you guys to attend our CTE with AISD graduation virtual signing day. And so this is going to be for representatives to employ like signing letters of intent for any graduation students who are going to be graduating in 2021. So this is a great way for the students to get employment with your organization, to provide for any type of training and estimate, any type of position that is available when you're meeting with these students. If they, of course, want to join with you and they want to sign, we're having a virtual signing day. And this is going to be in May on the 20th in the evening from 5 to 7. So on the right, we have our flyer for our students, and to the left, we have our flyer for our employers. And we have an Eventbrite link for employers to sign up for that. And then, of course, the students have a QR code that can apply for that with AISD. Of course, you can connect with us via email if you have any questions. Jessica was talking about labor market information. She did drop her link in if you guys have any LMI data requests. But if you have any other requests that you might be able to think of later on today, please don't hesitate to reach out to us about careers and training at careerladder@wfscapitalarea.com. And of course, all of our social media handles is at WFS Capital Area. We can be found on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And then of course, our YouTube channel this video will be aired. And you can see that at the same handle at WFScapitalarea.com. So with this, we have tons of interviews with employers, many different interviews in different industries that you can share and showcase to your students. Teachers, if you're looking for a speaker who's not available, you can definitely check out our videos and air that for your students to see as we ask them about 10 to 12 questions about the day in the life of their career, how they got there, and what they would do different if they were 18. So if you're looking for something specific like that, then that would definitely be available. Looks like we still have a couple people still on tag. If you guys have any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.